Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rising. Sagar, what are we doing?
Oh, we're talking to a Latin American expert. We're going to talk about Latinos in the 2020 election and some very interesting post-debate polling numbers. I think you guys are all going to be wanting to tune into that. All that coming up today on Rising. Krystal, what are you taking a look at?
So I wanted to share a story this morning of Josh Wilkerson and his fiancee Rose were ready to spend the rest of their lives together. They'd be married in October in a rustic barn. It was going to be a dream come true. But on Josh's pay of $16.50 an hour, there was no way that he could afford both the pricey insulin that he needed in order to manage his diabetes and also sock away a little bit of money so that he could marry his love. So first, what did Josh do? He rationed his $1,200 per month prescription. Then, at a doctor's suggestion, Josh began taking an over-the-counter alternative brand that you can buy at Walmart a lot cheaper for just $25 a vial. Unfortunately, that type of insulin, it just didn't work for him. First, there were stomach issues, there were mood swings, and then one night when Josh was on duty at the Northern Virginia dog kennel where he worked, he collapsed, and by the time Rose found him, it was too late. Josh Wilkerson, age 27, passed from this world on June 14th. Cause of death, big pharma greed. Make no mistake about it. There is absolutely no reason why insulin should cost $1,200 per month or anywhere close to that. Pharmaceutical companies in the U.S. charge whatever they want to because they can. Because the only other choice than paying that exorbitant price tag for people like Josh may well be death. One study found that it costs about $3 for drug makers to produce a vial of insulin that they then turn around and sell to Americans for $340. A vial for some diabetics like Josh lasts only about 5 days. Now that same vial that costs $340 here in the US costs only $32 for our neighbors to the north. If Josh had lived in Canada, he would still be alive today. This story, though, isn't just about insulin or even the criminally outrageous cost of many essential drugs. It's about what happens when profit is at the center of your healthcare system. Drug prices are jacked up by big pharma. Necessary care is denied by health insurers. Doctors overprescribe profitable drugs because industry reps sway them at golf outings or over fancy lunches. Billions are reaped in profits for the industry, and people like Josh die so that some executive can have a bigger yacht. That's why there can be no middle ground on healthcare. You can either have a system that's focused on care or one that's focused on profits. Of course, the health insurers and big pharma have billions on the line here, literally. They will do whatever it takes, spend whatever it takes to hold on to their profit margins. As Bernie Sanders pointed out recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, the industry spent $131 million to defeat just one ballot measure in one state. $131 million. That's what we're up against here. They will fund as much propaganda as they possibly can to convince you that change is impossible in our country, that we have to accept this immoral system, that there's no other choice. Do not believe the lies. Every other developed nation in the world guarantees healthcare as a right, and we can too. And in honor of the memory of Josh and all the others like him, we must. Any presidential candidate who is not ready for that fight is not worthy of your time. And this saga is why the healthcare fight is so important and why those who are trying to make concessions and compromises with the industry are so wrong and will ultimately fail at any meaningful change.
It also is what so annoys me so much about so many years of Republican politics in which they would try to, it's like, you don't need to work as a spokesman on behalf of the drug pharmaceutical industry, right?
Yeah, they got their own people doing that, don't worry.
They're doing plenty fine, and you don't have to be like, well, research and development costs. I think we can all find a way in order to make sure that insulin doesn't cost $340 a vial. And if the pharmaceutical company can't do it, there's no real problem for the government stepping in because, like you said, it is unacceptable that a system would lead to the death of an individual based on healthcare costs. It's just not acceptable in a civilized society. It's wrong.
Yeah, and the dirty little secret about the research and development thing is most of their research and development money goes to let's make a slightly better version or slightly different version of Viagra.
Yeah.
That's what it's actually mostly going
Consumer
to.
drugs,
It's not
right.
curing cancer, right? It's going to Viagra Plus. A lot of the life-saving research actually today comes out of the federal government, and then the taxpayers, we don't benefit from that. Some company makes tons of money off of the research that our tax dollars fund. So the whole thing is just a sham all the way through.
I mean, the one thing Bernie has always been right about is just how screwed this entire system is. So.
Yep, we don't have to accept it.
Yeah. Next on Rising. National Security, John Bolton's message for Venezuela. There's no need to risk your business interests in the U.S. for the purposes of profiting from a corrupt and dying government.
Latin America expert Lindsay Singleton tells us more about the latest round of sanctions on Venezuela and what they mean when Rising returns.